Sit back, relax. You're listening to the Brogcast. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Brogcast. You may notice a difference in lighting, and that is because I turned off the ceiling light here in this room, and then I just left the fill light on. And one thing I noticed, there's a little bit of an improvement. In previous episodes, I noticed that me and the microphone, everything in front and everything in the background, as far as lighting goes, were kind of competing, and it made it look kind of dull. But with the ceiling light off and the fill light on, the background seems to be a little bit darker and out of focus, whereas me and the microphone, everything in front is a lot brighter, a lot more contrast. It just looks better. Also with color, the color is a lot brighter. So yeah, I kind of like this change. Plus, I get migraines super easy from lights. And so having the ceiling light on along with the fill light, it's just just light is beaming down on me, and it sucks. So I kind of like this change. It looks better on camera, but also it saves me from the migraines. So a little bit of change here. I don't have any coconut water as my beverage for the episode. I finished off that coconut water that I mentioned in the previous episode, had a recall for lead contamination. I finished off that case of coconut water, and I'm on the hunt for better coconut water. And so in today's episode, it's just kind of boring, just a glass of water, but that's okay. Any beverage, as long as it's not carbonated or sugary, I'm good with it. It keeps my system flowing. So, all right. So I asked ChatGPT to give me a list of questions. I think I should make an account with ChatGPT, because when I give it a prompt and then let's say a few weeks later I do another episode, it forgets that prompt. And so when I ask it to give me a list of questions to answer, there are a lot of repeats. So I'm anticipating that I'm going to have to skip a lot of questions, but I had it give me like 60 questions. So I'm hoping with that number of questions, all of the ones that I'm going to skip, it's just going to cancel out, and then I'll have an adequate amount of questions to answer. All right, first question is, what is a fact that sounds fake but is actually true? So I hope you guys didn't hear that. I just burped. Like I mentioned, acid reflux. So there was this app back in the day called Uberfacts, and it was during the iPod Touch, early iPhone days, and so I want to say 2009, 2010, maybe up to 2013 or 14. There was this app called Uberfacts, and essentially, the app had maybe hundreds and hundreds of facts that you could scroll through, and it was kind of addicting. And one fact that I stumbled upon on there was, in Oregon, which is where I live, it is illegal to get married in a bathing suit. And I was like, what the heck? That is very bizarre. So I did some research, and it is true. It is a law, but it's not enforced. And I think the reason for that is because back in the day, early 1900s, maybe late 1800s, I assume that's when this law was passed. The culture and expectations for clothing back then was a lot different. I feel like back then, walking around in a bathing suit, especially at a wedding, was super frowned upon. Even today, it's not super frowned upon, maybe by some people, but it is still a little bit taboo to get married in a bathing suit. But back then, especially, I could totally see them saying, "Yep, that's illegal. That's totally wrong. no getting married in bathing suits. So I think that has something to do with it. It's just a super archaic law that they probably should get rid of because it's really stupid, but that is a fact. There is a law that says getting married in a bathing suit in Oregon is illegal. Next question is, what invention has had the biggest impact on the world? There are a lot of those, but I feel like one of the biggest inventions and innovations is the invention of the car. And the reason for that is if you look all the way back to, well, pretty much the beginning of human existence, we had to travel by walking, and then fast forward a little bit, we had to travel by horse, and then horse and buggy, and then on to the car. And that, I think, revolutionized a lot of different things, just the way that we live our lives. And when you fast forward to today, the complexity of a car is insane. Like, even 100 years before, like, yeah, that's we still had kind of the basic mechanics of a car, but when you fast forward it today, all the things that cars have is just mind blowing, and I feel like it's something we kind of take for granted and we kind of overlook. But the invention of the car was a huge innovation, in my opinion. Next question is, what is something we still don't understand about the universe? There are a lot of things we don't understand about the universe. I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but uh, not aliens necessarily, but they have confirmed it. The whole oh, I forget what they call it now. It's not UFOs, but it's like unidentified aircrafts. I think is sort of a part of the name, but they have confirmed that we have seen those, and that is one thing we haven't learned fully yet is where those are coming from. Some experts say that it may be coming from under the ocean, so there's that, but we still don't know where they're coming from, and that is a super crazy, weird, and kind of a spooky thing that we still need to figure out. And going a little bit broader to the universe itself, like galaxies and things like that. Experts say, like scientists, experts say that the universe is continuing to expand. And so that is another thing we don't know about the universe, is what is continuing to develop. And I don't think we'll ever be able to understand the universe if they're right and it's continuing to expand. I don't think we'll ever get to fully understand the universe. All right, next question is, what is a sound that brings you comfort? So one sound that brings me comfort, especially in the morning, is the sound of a coffee maker. And the reason for that is because it just gives me this feeling of the day is starting. It's it's the sound of a good day, and it's kind of a warm feeling that I get. So yeah, I think that's why I like the coffee maker sound. It just gives me this warm, fuzzy feeling in the morning. Next question is, why do we dream? Well, I think the reason why we dream, well, there's a lot of reasons, but I think one of the reasons why we dream is to sort of keep our brains preoccupied while we're sleeping. Because I don't know about you guys, but if night after night I didn't dream and it was just pitch black, sleeping would just be boring. If I didn't dream, that would be super boring. I love the adventure and the like deepness and just all of the super fascinating elements of a dream. Trying to extract the meaning of it, or trying to sort of conceptualize what's going on and experiencing it. I think we dream to keep ourselves entertained, but also to extract meaning from it and ask ourselves why we're dreaming what we're dreaming. And I think that's why. It's just sort of to keep us intrigued and entertained. Next question is, what is the weirdest thing about humans? I think I think yeah, I think A weird thing about humans is the whole dream thing. Like, I mean, I kind of answered the question, but there could be more answers as to why we dream. And the fact that we shut down for 8 hours and we're just immersed in this different world is crazy. Like, the mechanics of all that is super, super intriguing and fascinating. I think that's a super weird thing about humans, is the whole dream concept. All right, next question is why do you think time feels like it speeds up as we age? I think the reason for that is because when you're little, when you're as well, not as a baby cuz you don't really start remembering things until you're a toddler. So when you're a toddler and you begin life, you are seeing a lot of things for the first time and you are more absorbed into what you're experiencing. And I think that causes you to sort of that causes time to go by a lot slower because you're picking a lot of things up. And as you get older, life tends to be more predictable. You kind of know how things work, and you tend to overlook the things that you absorbed as a kid. And so that's what makes life speed up as you get older. Things are more predictable and time is just passing you by. You're not really getting absorbed into different things that are going on compared to the discovery phase of when you're a kid. Next question is, would you rather explore space or the deep ocean? I would like to explore the deep ocean. That is because space is this super like infinite headache of different things. Like, trying to explore space just sounds stressful. There's so much going on. Whereas on Earth, ocean has a limit. Eventually you're going to reach the bottom of the ocean. And another reason is because there are so many wacky creatures that are surfacing from the deep ocean that I would love to just, if there was a way, I think eventually with time, we'll have the proper technology to dive deeper and deeper into the ocean. I would just love to see like all the super cool creatures that would live down in there. It's super intriguing to think about. A big chunk of our oceans are undiscovered, and so there's a lot to learn. And I would love to just go down there and check it out. Next question is, would you upload your consciousness into a computer if you could live forever? I don't know. I don't know if I would do that. Living forever would be kind of cool in a way, but I feel like life is meant to end at a certain point. There's got to be some sort of closure. But also, I'll be honest, I have a wicked mind, a very strange mind. I feel like if anybody was able to see the contents of my mind, they would just think I'm a super insane person. People already do with the jokes that I make and stuff. They're just like, Jonathan's crazy. So yeah, I wouldn't willingly do that. I people would just think I'm insane, and in a more intense degree than they already do. But also, yeah, like I said, life is meant to have closure, and I living forever would have certain benefits, but in my opinion, at some point, life has to have closure. Next question is, if you had to live the same day over and over, what would you do differently? I would say maybe going back to one of the moments in my school days, back in either high school, elementary school, junior high school, or whatever. Um, I would save myself from getting embarrassed. I've done that multiple times throughout school, and I would like to just go back there and just erase that. Like, sometimes when I'm getting ready for bed at night, those will pop into my head and I'm like, oh, that was so cringy. That was terrible. So that's what I would do. I would like to go back and Maybe pick the most embarrassing moment and just erase it. That's what I would do. Next question is, would you rather lose the ability to read or to speak? Damn, losing either of those would just be painful. Um Maybe the ability to speak, because there are, as much as speaking is important, there are other ways to communicate. But if I couldn't read, I couldn't be as aware as to what's going on, because that's kind of how my brain works. I like to know what's going on and what is around me, and I feel like if I couldn't read, I would miss out on a lot of things that are going on. But if I couldn't speak, that would suck. But there's sign language, there's writing things, there's freaking Morse code. Like, there's a lot of ways to communicate. Whereas if I lost my ability to read, I would just be lost, and I wouldn't like that. Next question is, would you rather have unlimited time or unlimited money? I would say unlimited money. And the reason for that is, back to the life sort of thing. I feel like life needs to have some sort of closure. And so I don't think I would. I mean, it would be cool to have an unlimited amount of time, but if it would just go on and on and on and on, it would probably make me go crazy. So I would go unlimited money there. Next question is, if you could only keep one sense, sight, smell, etc., which one and why? I would say vision, the ability to see. I think that would be um, the the one sense that I would keep. Just going back to that one question, I like to see what's going on, and I like being aware of what's going on in my life, and or at least to a little bit of an extent. If I couldn't see, then I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't like that. It would just make me go crazy. Next question is, what would a new color look like? That, I don't know, man. They've confirmed this. It is impossible for humans to create a new color or think of a new color, because what we see is the limitations of the colors that exist for us. So I don't know what a new color would look like. Maybe it would have a different texture to it. Uh, Maybe there's like a gradient to it, or some sort of like, I don't know, different texture, different gradient, maybe to a new color. But I don't know. I don't have a definitive answer for that, because it's impossible to think of a new color. Okay, this one's kind of funny. If animals could talk, which species would be the most annoying? I would say roosters. And they already are kind of annoying in the morning when they get up and they squawk to let everyone know that it's morning time. If they could speak and they could shout actual words, oh man, that would drive me crazy. Like, it's one thing for them to squawk, but if they start yelling and maybe talking shit to get you up out of bed, heck no, man. Next question is, if your life were a genre of a movie, what would it be? I would say maybe a biopic, and I think, or biopic, I don't know how to pronounce it. Maybe it's a tomato thing. Like, uh, I don't know I don't know the correct pronunciation, but I think it would be a biopic, and I think everyone else's life would be a biopic too, because biopics have different sort of genres in it. And so there's happy moments, there's sad moments, there's funny moments, there's intense moments, there are suspense moments. So I would say biopic, and I think everyone else's life would be a biopic too. Next question is, what would your dream amusement park include? Probably the most boring amusement park ever, because I hate roller coasters. The idea of going hundreds of miles an hour and getting flipped upside down, and nope, roller coasters are a no for me, dog. So I would completely cut out roller coasters and rides like that. So it'd be very boring, but I would have a lot of games and contests. I would also have a big arcade because I'm a big arcade guy. So I think that's what it would look like. Maybe some good food, um, things like that. Maybe a big thing is on so I'm not gonna get rid of all the rides and things like that. Roller coasters definitely, but like the smaller rides. One part of that I would like to stress is that they're safe because I don't know if you guys know this, but there are people who have worked at carnivals and amusement parks and things like that, and they've come out and they've said these are not safe. At least they are safe enough, but there are not enough regulations to keep these things intact and prevent casualties. So that's another thing I would like to add to my amusement park. Make sure all of the rides are completely safe, locked down. That would be maybe my utmost important thing when creating that amusement park is making sure the rides are 100% safe. Next question is, what kind of game show would you host? So I have seen a lot of game shows growing up. I would say the one I don't I think they dropped this game show. I don't see it on TV anymore, but the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And the reason why is because I want to be there. I want to be the host during that one moment where the the contestant has no lifelines. They have no phone of friends. They're completely out of power moves, and they got to get that question dead on. That suspense is the most entertaining and awesome part of that show, and I would just love to be there during that moment and be like, "All right, 15 seconds. What's your final answer?" Like that would be so freaking cool. Next question is happiness the ultimate goal in life? Yeah, I would say so because happiness is a super long-term type thing that covers a lot of bases, and I think if if someone achieves happiness, you have this super deep satisfaction and gratifying feeling that can make you walk through everything, all the bad, all the good, and if you're happy overall, all of that is just gonna it's not even gonna phase you. So I think if you're happy, you can do anything. Like that sounds super inspirational. That sounds so stupid and mushy, but yeah, if you're happy overall, then life just becomes super easy and everything else will all the other good things will come with it. Next question is, can you separate the art from the artist? Oh, absolutely. There are a number of artists that I know who have gone through some really bizarre, strange, and messed up stuff. But it is hard for me to do that because as I'm listening to their music, it's hard to not think of who they are as a person. But if I find a song by them that is really, really good and just blows my mind, then I'm like, okay, yes, this person has done some messed up things and has been through a lot, but oh my goodness, this is a banger. So it's hard for me to do that at times, but more often than not, unless the person has done something complete, like 100%, 1,000% unhinged and not okay, then all right. But if it's something super minor, then I I have no problem separating the art from the artist. Next question is technology making us smarter or lazier? I don't think it's making us lazier, but I don't think it's necessarily making us smarter because we're having to rely on, especially AI. Hell, that's what I'm doing right now, kind of. I'm having it give me questions instead of writing up questions to answer. But, um, yeah, I mean, it's just basic science. If people are overly relying on AI to do everything, then it's not really a laziness thing. It's more of a cognitive and sort of mental fitness and intelligence thing. So it's not making us lazier, and it's not really making us smarter. So neither of those. Next question is, do we ever truly change as people? Um, it depends on the subject, but in my experience, um, the people who do something horrible and try to change, they can sort of mask it in a way, but from my experience, it sort of just fizzles away, and then they go back to the person that to the person that they were before. But like I said, it depends on the subject. Some stuff is easier to get over and change from. But if it's something super nasty, it's it's very difficult and sometimes impossible for some people to change. Next question is it better to know a little about everything or everything about one thing? I would say it's better to know a little bit about everything. And that is because you don't want to put all your eggs into one basket, and then if something comes up on a subject that you don't know, then you're kind of screwed. So I feel like if you know at least surface level of a lot of different things, it's a lot more beneficial. Next question is, should life have rules or be spontaneous? Um, I would say a little bit of both. I think there has to be some sort of structure to keep things in line. You don't want complete chaos, but I think spontaneous stuff kind of keeps things fun. So, in my opinion, I think there has to be a little bit of both. Next question is, if you could reboot one old show or movie, what would it be? So, this is a super niche show. A lot of you don't know what show this is, and my friends are gonna want to punch me in the face because I've talked about this show a lot. But growing up on Nicktoons Network, there was this anime inspired cartoon called Kappa Mikey. And it had a very limited number of episodes. I I don't think it made it to like 100 episodes, so it was kind of a short series, but it was so good. And I don't know where I could watch it. I'm sure there's somewhere where I could watch it, but it was such a good show. And as somebody who doesn't really hasn't really got into anime, um, it's it's a super fun show, and I think there needs to be a revival. I would love to see that. Speaking of the anime thing, normally I don't watch anime, but there is an anime that my friends have been raving about for years, and that is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. So after years of hearing them, talk about the show and how awesome it is, and have them reference things, and I I decided that I was gonna buckle down and watch it. And as somebody who doesn't really watch anime, I was kind of like, I don't know if I can stick with this because I don't really do anime. But so far, I have really really liked it. Um, so when I first started watching it, like a week and a half ago, Netflix decided to start me on season 5, and I thought I was going crazy because I started watching it, and I was about 6 episodes in. This is Stone Ocean, by the way, for those of you who don't know. Um, I was 6 episodes into season 5, and Netflix was kind of playing tricks on me because it kept saying, "Are you still watching this?" And then it got to the point to where the app closed because it thought I was just not watching it. So I was like, okay, I'm like balls deep into the series already. And then I look at like the season number and the episode number, and I'm like, I'm already on season 5. What the hell's going on? And because I'm completely new to this show, like I don't know how the seasons work. And I was like, how am I already on season 5? This seems very bizarre. How many freaking episodes did I watch? Well, I later found out that that was season 5. That was Stone Ocean. And I wasn't watching it from the beginning. And I was like, oh my God. So I'm a few episodes into Stone Ocean, but I decided to go back and watch from season 1. And I think I'm 5 episodes in right now to the first season of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and I love it. I hate Dio with a passion. Um, the point that I'm at right now, he came back to life after I thought they completely squashed him and he was gone from the series. He came back, and it's pissing me off. But I hate that character so much. And ironically, the main character is named Jonathan, Jonathan Joestar, and he's such a Sigma character. He's such a cool dude. I love JoJo. That's his nickname, obviously, JoJo. And I'm loving the series so far. Oh my goodness, I went on a ramble about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I'm sure my boys will approve of that. All right, where are we at? I completely lost. Oh, here we go. Oh, okay. By the way, to round that off, my answer to that question, the the TV show that I would like to reboot is Kappa Mikey. Next question is, what is the most creative marketing campaign you've ever seen? There's a lot of them out there. My favorite advertising campaign was the creditreport.com commercials. They were just super funny. The guy driving off in like a Geo Metro, and he's hitting the speed bumps, and the shocks are making the car go up and down, the old shocks. Um, the FREE, that spells free, creditreport.com, baby. Like, I think there was only a few ads that they made, at least from what I can remember. I think there was like 5 of them, but I love that advertising campaign. It was so good. Next question is, would you rather be able to talk to animals or speak every language? I would love to talk to animals. I'm a big animal person. Um, I used to have a dog for 15, almost 16 years. His name was Buddy, miniature poodle. He was my best friend. And it's kind of funny. I would always try to turn him into a character and kind of narrate his life for him and do a funny voice. And that is because I wanted to communicate with him so bad and let him have a voice. And so that right there, I think, is a telltale sign that I would love to communicate with animals and get to talk back and forth with them. And yeah, I would say, since I'm an animal person, I would love to talk to animals. I am 100% on that one. Next question is, would you rather never be stuck in traffic or never get sick? I would love to never be stuck in traffic. Being sick sometimes, it's just a part of life. It's not really a big inconvenience. It happens. I get sick maybe once or twice a year, and it happens. But getting stuck in traffic is painful, especially when you have to pee. I remember as a kid, this one time, me and my dad were stuck in this traffic for like, I think it was like an hour, hour and a half, and I had to pee so bad, but there wasn't any gas station or exit in sight, and so I just had to hold it there, and I really had to go, man. And from that moment on, I've hated being in traffic. Another reason why I hate traffic is because, well, I don't have my car now. My car got totaled. I guess that's kind of a shock to you guys, maybe. For those of you who have been following this channel for a long time, my super fun to drive, amazing car, my Volkswagen Golf, got totaled in an accident. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. Um, it was a manual. And for those of you who don't know how to drive manual or don't know how it works, when you're in traffic, you're constantly fighting with the clutch and between gears 1 and 2. You could put it in say second gear and let it kind of coast, but if the car stops in front of you, you got to hit the brakes and then you got to start over. So yeah, when I would be in traffic with that thing, it was gas clutch 2, gas clutch 2, gas clutch 2, 1 2, and oh man, it would just drive me up a wall. So I would say getting sick a couple times a year, that's no problem compared to getting stuck in traffic. Screw that, man. Next question is, would you rather live in a world without music or without movies? Without movies. I'm not a movie buff by any means. I think I've mentioned it on the podcast before, but there is a massive list of movies that I have not seen. And, to the point to where if I'm hanging out with my friends, they're big movie and video game buffs. And they'll be talking about movies, and I just stay silent the whole time because I have no clue what they're talking about. But music, however, I am super into music, and it's always been my thing ever since day one. And I feel like if there was no music in the world, my life would just crumble. It would just stop. Like there would just be it would just be such a boring world without music. I would just go crazy. All right, next question is, would you rather explore a new planet or the depths of the earth? Well, I think I already answered that towards the beginning of the episode. I guess I'll change my answer just for the sake of changing things up. If I had the chance to explore the depths of the earth, meaning pretty much the ocean, um, yeah, exploring a new planet would be kind of cool. Um, I did hear a couple years back there is a planet far, far away that is super similar to Earth. So I would like to go down there and get down to that planet and just see how it all works. See if the same life forms are on there as Earth, to see if the more advanced and more intelligent beings of that Earth develop their own languages and technology and innovation. That would be super cool to go explore, and maybe explore their oceans too and see what's down there. All right, next question is, would you rather only be able to whisper or only be able to shout? I feel like if I was only able to shout, I would get thrown in jail for disturbing the peace, and I would just be bothering people and annoying people. So it would be kind of annoying to only be able to whisper, but yeah, I would just wreak less havoc if I was able to just whisper instead of only being able to shout. All right, final question. Would you rather relive your favorite day or skip your worst? So this also goes back to about, I think it was about halfway in the episode where I said I would like to go back and erase my embarrassing moments from school. I would say if I was able to do that, then yes, I would love to relive my favorite day. And I don't know if I have a favorite day off the top of my head that I could I guess I'll just pick one. So, this was 20 the end of 2015, and I had a band in school. I had my own little band with my friends, and one super cool thing that I got to do with that band was we all got to work with a very well known Portland musician. Her name was Ellen White. We got to work with her in the school, and we got to audition for her, and then we won the audition, and we got to play one of her shows. And at one of her shows were these super notable. Well, there were a few genres. There was a or no 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 there was just one. There was just this one band. Uh, it was the Norman Sylvester band, and they played a lot of blues, like BB King type stuff. And he was such a nice guy. And the reason why I would pick that as one of my favorite days is because it was such an honor getting to play with him. And shout out to the drummer of that band because when we got to perform on that day, um, I had all my drums packed up, but there was no room on the stage for me to put my drums. And the super cool guy, the super cool drummer in that band, let me use his kit. And one thing he said to me, and he said to Ellen White, he said, "That is the best drummer I've ever seen." And I'm like, "Come on!" Like I'm a good drummer, but I'm not that good. Like, but that was so nice of him to say that. But the main thing is getting able to play with some of the most notable and talented musicians from the Portland area, and being able to do that with the little experience I had was so freaking cool. All right, y'all. That does it for this episode of the Brogcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.